starting out. Here's where the story ends. I'll be back from 2 tomorrow with Bewitched on the show. Stay there for Sarah. It's Radio 2, BBC Sounds app, on your smart speaker and on 88 to 91 FM.
We're the BBC News at 4 o'clock. This is Jason Kay. The government says there'll be no pay talks with the Junior Doctors Union unless it abandons its starting position of demanding a 35% pay rise. Members of the British Medical Association in England began a 4-day strike this morning. The BMA says it wants what it calls pay restoration because junior doctors have had 15 years of below-inflation wage rises. The leader of the Liberal Democrats, Sir Ed Davey, has urged the government to recall Parliament.
Everyone wants to see an end to the doctor strike, but the Conservatives have failed to get around the table with the junior doctors. It took them months to do so after the nurses' strike. Eventually a resolution was found, and people can't believe that Conservative ministers are refusing to talk to the BMA. That's why Parliament needs to be recalled, so we can hold these Conservative ministers to account for the failure to get around the table.
The boss of one of the UK's largest business groups, the CBI, has said he's shocked that he was fired this morning after an investigation into complaints about his conduct at work. Tony Danker will leave the organisation with immediate effect. He's apologised and said he didn't intend to make colleagues feel uncomfortable. The International Monetary Fund has predicted the UK will be one of the worst performing advanced economies this year. It said it expects the British economy will shrink by 0.3% in 2023, but that figure is smaller than the 0.6% forecast in January. The global economy is expected to grow 2.8% this year. Pierre-Olivier Gourinchard from the IMF explained what the world's economy is gradually recovering from the pandemic and Russia's invasion of Ukraine.
Supply chain disruptions are unwinding, while the dislocations to energy and food markets caused by the war are receding. The massive and synchronized tightening of monetary policy by most central banks is starting to bring inflation back towards its targets. At the same time, serious financial stability-related downside risks have emerged.
The intelligence agency GCHQ has appointed a female director for the first time in its 104-year history. Anne Keast-Butler, who currently works at MI5, will succeed Sir Jeremy Fleming, who announced in January he was stepping down. Data obtained by the BBC shows that a phone is reported stolen in London every 6 minutes. Just 2% of the devices reported stolen were recovered. The Met says that the crime is difficult to police. Sharon Brown-Peter had her phone stolen in February by a Deliveroo bike rider who was harassing her on the streets.
I kept telling him, sorry, I just don't want to talk to you right now. I'm not interested in talking to you right now. Please leave me alone. But he just kept persisting and started inching closer. The moment I decided to do the typical thing, which is to pull out my phone and pretend as if I'm not listening to him anymore, he basically snatched my phone.
A man's denied sending an offensive email to the deputy leader of the Labour Party, Angela Rayner. David Perry, who's 66, is alleged to have contacted the MP in May last year. He told police his computer might have been hacked. Now time for the sports news from Fraser Dainton.
Manchester City defender Ruben Dias says they're up against one of the best sides in the world tonight. City host Bundesliga champions Bayern Munich in the first leg of their Champions League quarter-final. Dias says it's a competition they're desperate to win, having lost in the final 2 years ago.
The anger is the same as always. It's a special competition, as you all know, and especially for us, we really want to be in it. And we want to see it through. So it will be a very difficult match. But in a way, it's what this competition is all about. Big games and just going through and beating the best.
England's women are back in action tonight as they take on World Cup hosts Australia in a friendly in Brentford. Scotland and Ireland also have friendlies. And Rory McIlroy has withdrawn from this week's PGA Tour event in South Carolina, but no reason was given. It comes after the Northern Irishman missed the cut at last week's Masters by 2 shots. That's the BBC News and Sports. It's 4 minutes past 4.
Fraser, Jason, thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, introducing to you Sarah Cox, BBC Radio 2.
Give us an S. Give us a cot. What have you got? Scott, it's great to have him back, wasn't it? Thanks, Scott. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls and everyone in between, welcome along to your tune-filled Tuesday Tea Time extravaganza. As the weekend mysteriously disappears like that child's Easter egg in the fridge that you couldn't resist snapping bits off every time you went in, though, even though you knew it was wrong, but it tasted so good. Let's melt into each other's arms and milk this week for all it's worth. Expect the usual tough. That's tunes, you, features, fun. 88291 if you want some. As it's a Tuesday, there's groovies in the heart, plus first and last the half. Wow, we'll wear feathers to the Sarahs, and next we launch Devoted, plus Cat Me If You Can and Bone It N. I'm excited. Harry's excited.
Bakers, there's a bread roll on the loose in the tent.